Welcome everyone. So my name is Kieran, and today we are going to focus on one of the most important elements of clear and effective writing, which is text cohesion. Now, in our last session, we had a look at cohesive devices. So if you haven't already, make sure you take a look at it now. You should see the link at the top of the screen. Um, that will give you a little bit of background around the idea of cohesion, and today we're going to take that a little bit further. Okay. So, if you didn't already know, cohesion is what helps our writing flow, what helps our ideas feel connected, and also, most importantly, what ensures readers can move smoothly from one thought to the next. Throughout this session, we'll look at practical strategies and devices that make writing easier to follow and more enjoyable to read. So, by the end, you'll have a stronger sense of how to guide your readers through your ideas in a logical, confident way. So, before we dive into any kind of definitions or things like that, let's look at a piece of writing together. I want you to consider what you notice about this paragraph here. Right? So we got the farmhouse stood tall on the hill, it had a red roof, the sun rose, the rooster crowed, the farmer woke up, she went to the barn, she fed the chickens, she collected the eggs, she ploughed the fields, she harvested the fruit, she watered the crops, she took a break. So, think of yourself as both a writer and a reader for a moment. Does this feel easy to follow? Does it flow naturally, or does it feel slightly awkward? So as you read through it, try to pay attention to how the structure and the wording affects the experience of reading. So imagine that you're building a puzzle. Each puzzle needs to connect properly to reveal the whole image. And writing works in exactly the same way. Okay, so have a look at this paragraph here and consider those ideas. Okay, so you can pause the video at this point and take another look. So each sentence here in this paragraph gives us a new detail, but notice how the sentences are lined up one after another without any real connection between them. They're all short, sudden statements. There's no sense of movement or relationship between the ideas. And when you read it aloud, it almost sounds like a list. Bang, 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 bang. So again, what do you notice? You may be feeling that it lacks some kind of flow, and this is exactly the issue that cohesion aims to fix. Okay. All right. So, in writing, sentences inside a paragraph should work together to create a meaning, not compete for attention. They need to lead into each other, support each other, and guide the reader naturally from one idea to the next. Without those connections, writing actually becomes difficult to follow, even if the ideas themselves are perfectly easy to understand. So then, today we've got two main objectives. First, we will define and discuss the concept of cohesion in text so that you understand exactly what we mean when we talk about writing more cohesively. Second, we'll learn about a range of cohesive devices, so those tools that will help you to guide your readers and provide structure. So these might be devices that you're already using without realizing it, or they may be new to you, but by the end you'll feel much more confident using them intentionally. So cohesion is what ensures your writing is easy to follow and understand. Again, well, let's consider the idea of glue. It's the glue that helps your sentences stick together and form a complete, meaningful piece of writing. Without cohesion, writing feels like disconnected fragments, just like that paragraph we looked at. With cohesion, writing becomes smooth, logical, and purposeful. It's not only about grammar, it's also about giving your reader a clear map through your ideas. So, let's begin with our first cohesive device today, which are conjunctions. Now, we've discussed conjunctions before, so if you haven't had a look already, have a look at our coordinating conjunctions, subjunctive conjunctions, correlative conjunctions. All of those videos should be on the screen now. Okay. So conjunctions are those words that connect sentences, connect ideas, help to create this flow. So, in cohesive writing, conjunctions can be either temporal, which talk about time, or causal, which relates to cause and effect. So, these small words play a huge role in creating that logical progression that we're all looking for. So, when you're using them thoughtfully, they help signal the relationships between your thoughts. So, let's first of all consider those temporal conjunctions, which are those ones talking about time. So they help readers understand when something happens and how the events unfold in relation to one another. So, for example, phrases like as the sun sets, before the rooster crows, and meanwhile guides the reader through the time smoothly. They add a sense of sequence of movement. If you don't use them, events feel kind of abrupt and disconnected like that. And with them, it feels like a story. The narrative flows naturally. So let's move on to the second one that we were talking about, which are causal conjunctions. So these explain why something happens, the cause. They show cause and effect. So words like because, consequently, and due to help explain the relationship between ideas. In writing, as you can imagine, these are essential when you're trying to justify a point or present a logical argument. They make your reasoning clear, and they help your reader follow the chain of thought that leads from one idea to the next. So they were conjunctions. Now let's consider our next cohesive device, which are transitions, which are also known as connectives. So these are words, phrases, or even full sentences that guide your reader through a text. Transitions help signal changes. Maybe you're introducing a new idea, emphasizing a point, or shifting towards a conclusion. So they are like signposts in your writing, making sure the reader always knows where they are and where they're going next. So, when we begin a piece of writing, we want to signal that introduction clearly. So, transition devices like firstly, to begin with, in the opening of our discussion, they specifically tell you that we are starting something new. So, these phrases create a clear entry point into your text. They help prepare the reader for what's coming, establish the tone, and also the direction right from the start. So, as we move into the middle of a text, we need to continue guiding the reader. So, phrases such as in the middle of our exploration, moving on to the next point, as we delve deeper into the topic, these all show that the discussion is developing. So, these transitions help maintain momentum, show that ideas are being expanded or built upon. So, they play a key role in keeping the text organized as it grows in its complexity. At the end of a text, transitions are just as important as you can imagine. So phrases like to conclude, lastly, in closing, they signal clearly that we are wrapping up the discussion. They also prepare the reader for a summary or a final point. So strong concluding transitions bring a sense of completeness, and they help reinforce your key ideas. So let's check your understanding. We're going to look at some short examples, and your task will be to identify the cohesive device being used and then what type of device it is. So this will help you practice recognizing cohesive devices in action. So take your time, think about what the word or phrase is doing within a sentence. Right. So here's the first challenge. So we've got this sentence here. As the sun sets over the serene countryside, the rhythmic chirping of crickets signals the beginning of a tranquil night. So first of all, we need to identify the cohesive device. Okay. So think about what kind of cohesive device is it and what type of cohesive device is it? Okay. Is it relating to time, cause, something else? Okay. So in this example, the cohesive device is the word as. It functions as a temporal conjunction. It tells us when something happens. So the sun is setting. It is in the evening. Okay. And it connects those two ideas together. So we know that they're happening at the same time. So this helps the sentence flow, naturally guiding the reader from the sunset to the chirping of the crickets. So the same thing for this sentence. Many countryside dwellers report high levels of satisfaction for the harmonious coexistence of nature and community fosters a sense of belonging and contentment among its residents. So consider what kind of relationship the cohesive device is signaling here. Again, is it time, cause, sequence, something else? Okay. So what is it in this situation? Well, it is the word for. So in this sentence, the cohesive device is the word for. This is a causal conjunction. It explains why the residents feel a sense of belonging and contentment. Okay. It's very similar to because here. So it shows cause and effect, helping the two sentences express a logical relationship between the two ideas. So the third one, in essence, the charm of countryside living lies not only in its picturesque landscapes, but also in its sense of community and serenity, emphasizing a connection between individuals and the natural world. So, what is the device and what type of device is it? Well, we have here in essence. So the cohesive device here is in essence, and this is a transitional device that signals a conclusion. So when you hear in essence, you're going to have a summary coming up. It tells the reader that we're summarizing or distilling the main points. It helps bring the ideas together in a neat final thought. So to summarize, there we go, nice transitional phrase. To summarize our lesson today then, we can use conjunctions and transitions as an essential part of creating cohesion in writing. They help connect sentences, paragraphs, and whole texts so that the ideas flow logically and smoothly. By learning to use these tools effectively, you can greatly enhance the clarity of your writing and communicate your ideas with confidence. This will lead to better grades in your assignments and essays. So, cohesion isn't optional. It's not something that you can choose to include or not include. It is a core part of strong, readable writing. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending today, and I hopefully will see you all again next week. Bye-bye.